Jerry and Derek, you'll be first.
Yeah, hi, John. You said on the radio show that what you see this game tomorrow as a way to get on a path. And I wondered a path to where, and also as a second part, you also said you'd rather the guys think about winning one game 4 times rather than trying to win 4 games. Can you explain your thinking there too?
Yeah, at this time of the year, you stay in the moment. You don't worry about what else is going on around you. All you're trying to do is be at your best at the end of the year, which I've done every year I've been here. I've pushed the same message, whether it's, look, all this is for seeding, so let's be at our best. Now it's become, all right, we're going to have to go and do something unique and special, which we can if we continue to climb. Now, that means 16 to 18 assists, 10 to 12 turnovers, no more, and we fight. If we do those things, you all know we'll be right there and with our chances to win. Got to shoot the ball a little bit better than we had the last couple games. And then it all becomes a mindset. In the NCAA tournament, we're playing weekends. And you don't even know who your second game is unless they played before you. You may think it's this team, but they lost. It's the same thing in Nashville. We're going to play a game first. All we worry about is that game. The next game would probably be played after. We don't even know who it's going to be. So stay in the moment. Like today's practice is all we should be thinking about. Yesterday's practice was pretty good. It was rough. We had a couple busted up lips and, it was interesting. And we had a little freak thing that I don't think will affect anything, but, we had a guy come down on an ankle funny, and didn't really step on anybody, just came down funny and nothing crazy, but he'll be fine, I believe so. But it was a good practice. Now today's practice, the same. We moved it up a little bit, so it's earlier because the game's earlier. But the great thing about these guys, and it's been a struggle, and I say this, there's a lot of stuff, even my coaching, we've not been where we've been. So, but these kids have never stopped. They've never stopped fighting for our fans, for the state, for the university, for the program. They've never stopped fighting. We just got to understand there's only one path for us: fight. If you get banged on the board, you're not winning. 2, create shots for each other, 16 to 18 assists. 3, keep those turnovers down because they lead the baskets for them. We do those things, we could go on a run, but it's all of them. And again, we were doing them for a while. And then what happens? The last piece of this becomes when a team makes a run, you can bow your neck and say, that's it, or you can drop your head. We've been dropping our head. Stop it. Bow your neck. Let's go. And again, the spirit of the team has been good.
John, Hale, go ahead, and then Daryl.
Cal, you talked on the radio show the other night about maybe letting Lance have another opportunity because he fights, obviously getting Dante in there a little bit more. It felt like you had hit a real groove with that 7-man rotation. How difficult is it at this point in the season to still be kind of wondering who you should be playing out there?
Well, as you guys have watched, we really had inconsistency. And at this point, you're playing to win the game. Forget about next game or forget about egos. Those are out the window now. And so if we start a game and we got some guys that won't battle and fight, then we know we have Lance. Lance looked good in practice yesterday. What did he do against Mississippi State last time? How did he play against North Carolina when he went in battle? He was fine. Guys aren't shooting the ball as well. Let's give Dante another shot. He's not been shooting it particularly well in practice and stuff, but you know what? Every time he misses, we stop, and everybody on the team says to him, what? Keep shooting. We got to get him into a different mindset right now so he can go in the game and let loose and let shots go. But again, would I love it to be the 7-man rotation because we're playing and perform? Yes. But the other side of it is we're trying to win. And if someone, again, I come back to this. This has been a great lesson for these guys. When you're not at your A game, your B or C game. What do you do to help us win? If you're not doing anything to help us win, then someone else got to play. It's just how it is. And the inconsistency has kind of led us to just like, okay, let's try something different. I'm not going to just let a game go. It's not how I do this.
Darren, go ahead, and then Kent.
Yeah, John, you may have hit on this a little bit already, but I wanted to follow up a little. With the type of season you've been through at this stage, and team could either pack it in or they could play with hair on fire, desperation. What's your feeling among the kind of the mentality of the team? They had some really tough losses.
Yeah, they've been good, Darryl. They've been good. We had a team meeting and talked about this. The reason my teams historically, and I'm talking back to conference tournaments when I was in USA, Atlantic 10, and here, and you say, why have your teams done so well in conference tournaments? Well, they've done well because the entire season, every game we played was someone's Super Bowl. The rivalries to us weren't as big as the rivalries they had with us. And so now all of a sudden you've been in a war every game. You're battle tested for postseason. Other teams won't be as battle tested. They haven't been through what you've been through. But the other side of that is to finish off games, you have to play with some reckless abandon. You got to play like you have nothing to lose. And that's where I got to get these guys mentally. And we talked about it, talked about individuals in the room and how they're close and, you know, and talked about different teams that went on a roll at the end of the year and won 4 games in their tournament or 5 games in their tournament and ended up going to the national championship game because they got in. I mean, it's happened. But it's what I said is the reason I believe we're going to do this and can do it because my teams historically have done it. So I know what it feels like, but I got to get them in the same frame of mind. And that's what I'm trying to do motivational wise, but you're also preparing for games. Like South Carolina is going to play a 2-3 zone, a 3-2 zone, a 1-2-2, a 2-2-1. We got to prepare for what they do also. But we've got to understand that these kids are not robots. They're not machines. They don't play great every time out. And we've got to try to figure out, all right, how do we give ourselves a chance to win every game? And I think to this point, you have to admit, that's all you could see. That's what we've been doing and I've been doing. How do we give ourselves a chance? And we've had a chance, and now we got to just push it over the edge.
Canton, Don Wall.
John, during that 3-game winning streak, it looked like you guys were really starting to get it and just about ready to take off. But then you had that week off. Can you pinpoint, did anything happen during that week? Because obviously they haven't looked the same in the last 2 games.
Well, again, the things that we had in those games were we fought, we battled, we out-rebounded. So you could say that time off, I don't know if that time off led them to hearing the wrong things and reverting back to not fighting, not passing to each other. We can do this. You got, you know, and again, that's what the challenge of this has been. We start going and then we revert. And then you say, what do you revert? Well, you're not fighting, you're not passing, and you got high turnovers because you're trying to hit home runs. Why are you trying to hit a home run? Because you missed 4 straight shots that were wide open and you look bad. I got to do something. And now all of a sudden you make a hero's play that leads them to a layup. We've seen it over and over. And that's a maturity level. And again, the good news of what you said, we've seen ourselves be right there where, all right, if this is who we are, this is going to be some fun. We just got to get back to that. Now, how do you want to finish this? And that's what I'm saying to them. You can paint the picture you want. Our season's going to be 0-0 after Saturday. What is Saturday's game? To get us ready and in the right mindset. I don't know what's going to happen in the game. None of us do. But I know let's do our best and let the score take care of itself.
John and Kyle, and we'll see where we're at.
Hey, John, it is ironic that in the one year that you're struggling to make the NCAA tournament, your athletics director is the chair of the tournament committee. How frequently do you speak with Mitch? And what words of encouragement has he been giving you during this time?
Well, he's called me after just about every game, and he's been great. He and I had talked, if we can do this, you're right. Let's worry about this though first, this one game, because he would never be in the room if they talked about us anyway. But we knew what the numbers were saying. We knew, and we knew if we could go on a little run here, we were going to be right in the hunt and not have to win the tournament. And so we had talked. He never talked about what goes on in the room. That's, confidential, but he's feeling bad, just like I'm feeling bad. And he's encouraging, keep coaching them, keep doing what you're doing. He's in post-game locker rooms at home. When we finish the game, he's hearing what I'm saying. And so he's been great throughout this for these kids and for me and our staff.
Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, Cal, what is the biggest thing or one big thing that you thought you knew about this team when the season started, that once it got going, it was something else that was maybe a surprise, and whatever that is, how have you adjusted to it?
Well, again, with Terrence being out, BJ struggled early. I thought our guard play would be better. And so it changed on the run of how we were trying to play. Terrence being out all that time and then not really being back, we started having limited, okay, what can we do and how do we do this? Playing through the post like we are, it's not something that I've done historically. I've done it once or twice. But you know what? With this team, this is how we have to play. Isaiah, even the people that have recruited him would call me and say, you know what? Wow, has he gotten better? I never thought he'd be there this fast. So he's really developed and really put himself in a great position. But there, like I said, you would hope some of these close games we would win. These kids would be in a different mindset, but we didn't. And now this is what's in front of us and what we have to deal with. And so as a coach, I'm just trying to paint that picture. Let's go. We can do this. As you all know, I haven't been in this position like since my first year of coaching. And I'm hoping in the locker rooms, I'm saying the right things after these games. But I haven't had many of them that I've had to, talk. And my thing is they're very short because there's no reason to pile on these kids right now. And it gives me some time to think about how I want to address the team about what went on and how we have to deal with it. So, but the great thing for me, this team has not quit fighting. They've not stopped. It doesn't mean they're going to play great. It doesn't mean an opponent's not going to come out of the gate and play great, because everybody's doing that. I mean, the games that we could have gotten some people, Florida, we had down 10, 5 straight turnovers. Where we didn't pass the ball to each other, stuff like that. It's had an effect. I mean, going up 6 on Mississippi and ready to go, a steal, a breakaway. All right, let's go. We're going to be up 8 or 9. Let's go. And now all of a sudden, 58 seconds later, it's a tie ball game. And we've done it over and over. And we just got to have somebody on the court. All right, let's stop the bleeding. You either get fouled, do not throw a ball that you can't make, or get fouled, or we can't rebound. Make the easiest play you can make. We're not turning it over now. We need that stuff on the court, not just coming from the bench.
Guys, we're going to end coach here so we can get Isaiah in here. Guys, one last thing too. If there's anything you can do to help to point people to that American Red Cross telethon going on WLEX, we would appreciate it. That goes on until 8 tonight. So give us a second here and we'll get Isaiah in here for you.